Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining me in this series called Ecstatic Fame: How to Use Facebook Marketing to Unleash Your Star Power, Make Money, and Change the World. So thank you so much for joining me in the first video, which was the Ecstatic Fame Challenge, where I really laid out the possibilities for you and that it's important for all of you to be stepping into your fame. And I even gave you a challenge so that you could get started right away in activating your star power. So if you haven't watched the first video yet, I'm going to ask you to press pause here and go back and watch, because I want to be seeing your expression in the challenge. It's been so great to see your selfies and to hear about your big whys. So thank you for joining me in this challenge. Now today, our title for our video is How to Explode Your Buzz on Facebook. Now, I'm really excited to be sharing some real solid nuts and bolts for you so that I can give you a plan for your Facebook marketing so it's not just wasting time. And it's going to also be a blast as we dive into this content again today too. Because here's what I want you to realize. I want you to forget everything you have learned about Facebook in the past, and in reality, kind of even almost everything you've learned about marketing in the past. Because as I've already mentioned, like, the landscape of marketing is changing, and how we're getting our message out and how we're connecting to our ideal high-paying clients. And we need to be changing with the times too. What was working in the past is not working now. And so I really believe the name of the game in this moment is engagement. Not just sharing content and talk, but how can we engage with our audience? How can we create experiences for them? And I want to show you ways that you can be doing that with your Facebook marketing. And also so that it can be fun, because I love to do business a little bit differently, and it's definitely important to me that it's fun, that I feel fully expressed in my creativity, and that my uniqueness stands out. So if that's important to you too, then sit back, get your notes ready, and let's go for a ride. Okay, so I really want to give you a plan today and show you the 4 steps of how you can be, first of all, sort of activating your star power, exploding your buzz on Facebook, really seeing how you can be using video to become a client magnet, and then the last step is how to monetize all of that. And really, it's important for you to learn, how do you use all this buzz that you're generating on Facebook and be able to engage with an ideal paying client, bring them into enrollment, and receive an amazing new client. Are you ready to kind of be learning that process today? Excellent. Okay, so first up, I want to really give you the first step, which I think is the place to begin. So the first step in our process is all about activating your star power. Now, I've been talking a lot about why that star power is important, but let me just share a little bit more, because as I've said, I believe that everybody has star power deep down, and it just needs to be turned on. All of us have a dial that we can dial up to 10, but most of us are really living around 5, 4, 3 even. And that's not gonna fly, because we need to get things done on this planet, as I talked about in the first video. And I really believe that you claiming your fame and activating your star power is going to support you in that process. Because what happens is when you're lit up and you're on fire and you are just in that magnetic space, people will be drawn to you. And then you're not going to have to work as hard. You're not going to have to try and use words in your messaging. You just need to show up and be embodied in your brand, in your essence, and people are going to understand that if you activate your star power. Now, what that's looked like for me is that I tend to draw in speaking engagements that I don't have to lift a finger to get. Or when I go to live events, people know who I am, or they've been watching my videos and they've been seeing my posts on Facebook. They feel like they know me. My know, like, and trust factor is pretty much through the roof. So it really does support me in my business like crazy. And I do stand out in the marketplace. I have people that will say that to me of how I look like such a rock star, and that I definitely stand out. And then I've gotten to watch the same thing with my clients. It's such a joy to see someone who sort of comes to me and maybe is a little bit shy and withdrawn and, wears their hair in sort of a plain way and wears clothes that maybe don't sort of accentuate their femininity, and then just you wait, shazam, something happens and they really do flip their switch and everything begins to change. People are watching them on Facebook. They want to know what they're up to, and they're starting to be like, I want a little bit of that and I want a little bit of that. And all of this happens pretty effortlessly when they activate their star power. So I want to invite you today, how can you be looking for places where you can activate your star power and be ready for that and not get stopped by any visibility issues that you might have? How can you kind of detox and clean out the clutter around all of that? Because I want to support you in being on. So my tip for you today is to really be joining us in the challenge every step of the way along this process. Because as I've mentioned, I want to give you an opportunity to experience ecstatic fame. Not just talk about it, but I want you to get it into your molecules and your cells. So hopefully you experienced the first challenge in the first video, and then there's going to be another challenge at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. And both of these challenges and the ones further on are going to give you a chance to activate your star power and be connecting with your community. Okay, great. So moving along to step number 2 on how to explode your buzz on Facebook. Now this is a juicy one because this is literally where you start to use Facebook to explode that buzz. And there's a technique I want to share with you that you won't hear in traditional marketing at all because it's a little bit different. And I like to call it promotionless promotion. And this is where you get to do your marketing through transmission. And I call it living on brand. Now, it may not sound like much, but you'd be surprised how effective it can be. Now, this is what it can look like. Basically, that you live your life and you share it. It's actually that simple. Now, the important thing is that you make sure that you're walking your talk, because if you talk a lot about wealth consciousness and making money and you're living in kind of a place that doesn't feel so good to you, or driving a jalopy, or vacationing, maybe in a place that's not so nice, then that's going to be a little out of alignment, right? There's going to be an incongruence there. So you definitely, whatever you aspire to talk about, maybe you're a health coach, and if you start sharing or talking about eating donuts, a little bit of a mismatch, right? So we want to look for some congruence and for you to be walking your talk and to really just be living your life and sharing it. And you would be shocked to see how effective this is. Now, what that can look like is basically when you go on vacation, you take photographs and you share them on Facebook. It can also look like you share some behind the scenes of the work that you do with clients. Sort of like people love seeing behind the scenes. It's absolutely amazing. You can also, maybe when you have a day where there's a lot going on, you do some real-time reporting and you sort of take people on the journey of what's happening in your day. So all of that is what I call living on brand. And it's that simple. Could be taking photographs and sharing them, making some quick videos, maybe even just making some posts. It doesn't have to be complicated at all. And what happens is people feel connected to you. And you haven't had to pontificate about your messaging and your body of work. You've lived it. And then your messaging comes through transmission. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a pretty cool way to operate with promotionless promotion and marketing through transmission. And I'm telling you, it's effective as well. The first time I experimented with this was after my first live event a couple of years ago, and I went to Hawaii afterwards, and I started taking photographs and videos and sharing what was happening, and I ended up having a $50,000 launch afterwards. Now, I could have stayed home and worked my butt off creating a launch, but I went to Hawaii and I shared what I was already doing, and that was very effective. And so this creates engagement with your audience too, because they feel like they know you, and business is all about relationships. So this is a very feminine way to be doing business, a very creative way, and I think a very natural way too. So a tip for you to get started today to be using this in your own business is to look at how can you start sharing behind the scenes of what's going on for you? Now, for example, we were coming up to this Ecstatic Fame launch, I was sharing little bits and pieces behind the scenes. When I was making these videos, for instance, I would take a photograph of the video being filmed and post that right on Facebook. I would talk about how I was working on the new photographs, that I had a new photo shoot, and I would talk about how I was working on the banners. And so all I did was just share the work I was already doing, but it was behind the scenes. People loved it, and they started to get hungry and ready, and almost like I teased them a little bit for this launch. And now they're good to go to be joining me for the whole experience. So how can you apply that in your own business today, here and now? Start sharing behind the scenes so you can begin to explode your buzz on Facebook. All right, now we're moving into step number 3. And this is where you become a client magnet with ecstatic video. Okay, so video is definitely up and coming these days. In the first video I shared with you how Facebook is the second largest website in the world, but guess what's third? YouTube. So this is another place where your clients are living, and video, you cannot get by without doing video for your business these days, because I really believe that our marketing can be like art, and that we can have all different kinds of mediums. Right? So we can have, just like we might have painting and dancing and sculpting as different mediums in art, in marketing, we can have videos and photographs and our blog posts, all different ways we can express ourselves. So for video, it's a very immediate way to connect. Like, you guys maybe feel connected to me from this video, right? And you get to see me in action and get a real understanding from me that you wouldn't get from just a photograph or from my words. So I want to support all of you in becoming a client magnet with ecstatic video. All right, now here's the thing. There's a lot of videos that can be really boring, or there's videos that can be totally ecstatic and like just completely engaging, and people are just with you in the process. So a tip that I want to give you today is to look for ways that you can stand out. And that's going to help you to become a client magnet and draw in those high-paying clients. Now, one way to do that is to look at what hobbies do you have? Like, what skills do you have that really light you up, that you enjoy doing? Now, some of those you might think don't really belong in your business, and maybe you do them at nights and on the weekends. But guess what? This is the age of the personal brand. This is the day and age where you get to put all of you into your business. And when you do, that's when you stand out, because nobody else out there on the planet is like you. So if you leave out pieces, then you're kind of a watered down version of yourself, and then that's when you feel like you're lost in a crowd and you feel the competition. But not if you bring all of you into the one business. Then you begin to completely stand out. So my tip for you today is, when you go to make your next video, how can you combine it with a passion or a hobby or a skill set that you really feel great about it? And it's going to look a little bit different, because obviously when you make a video, there's a way to just be delivering your content like this. Or you could be doing something while you're doing the process. So for example, I've had clients who make videos while they're hula hooping because they love to hula hoop. And then I've had clients who've made videos in the bathtub while they share their content. And then I've had clients who have made videos while they're hiking because they love being in nature. Or maybe they're cooking dinner and they're sharing their content in that way. Now think about it. You could see someone just being a talking head on video, or you can see them doing something interesting that maybe connects to the content, maybe not, you never know. But it's going to be engaging, and they're going to feel like they know you. Now, as an example, in my own business, before I stepped into business, I was leading a workshop series called The Roar, and we were literally roaring. I was combining the expressive arts with transformation work. It was almost like communal performance art alchemy, if you will. And so we would literally roar in this course. And so I thought, how can I bring that into my business? Now, that's not stereotypical to see someone roaring in a business video, but I thought, why not? It'll help me stand out. So I would literally roar, and I'm telling you, my business completely took off. Do you want to see a roar? I figure I got to bring it in. I want to walk my own talk, right? Now, it looks a little bit other, so just pre-prepared because I look kind of civilized here in the moment. But let me bring some of that through because I love tapping into the primal energies of life. So, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. It's always so satisfying. Okay, not something you see every day in a business video, but that helped me to stand out. So how can you be finding ways to bring your own uniqueness into your videos? And I'm telling you, it's going to make you a client magnet. Okay, great. So now we've gone through our first step, which is all about activating your star power. And then our second step was all about exploding your buzz on Facebook. And then our third step was how to become a client magnet with ecstatic video. Now, the fourth step is how to monetize all of that and how to really how do you turn all that buzz that you're building into clients? Because I want to support each and every person and creating the business success that they are meant for. Because here's the thing, if you are struggling and worrying about how to pay your bills every month, then you're not really in your purpose on this planet and being as effective as you possibly could be. Did you know, I heard this amazing stat, that we actually get dumber when we're stressed about money? We lose on average of 13 IQ points when we are stressed about money. So to get things done on this planet, that is just not gonna fly. So it's absolutely important to monetize this step. Now I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna save this step till our next video. I want to create a little bit of a tease and I want to make sure you come back for more. And the first 3 steps are great for you to get started with right away. Are you seeing now how this is going to support you in your ecstatic fame? And do you see how it's going to help you to how to use Facebook marketing to unleash your star power, make money, and change the world? Because you're going to start to build buzz. People are going to be paying attention. You're going to be drawing in clients. You're going to be building your lists and getting more likes on your fan page and building your communities and your movements. And guess what? You're going to be having fun along the way too. So thank you so much for going on this journey with me today. Now, I haven't forgotten, we've got our second challenge that's happening today. Because remember, as I said, I want to do business a little bit differently. I think engagement is the name of the game, and I'm doing that now with this particular launch, right? So our second challenge, and this is going to be really fun, I came up with a very fun name for it. It's called the Newsfeed Flash Mob. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. All the details are going to be below this video as well. So here's what it's going to here's what's going to happen. I'm going to invite you to do another selfie, but this time with sunglasses on. Because here's why. There's a reason I think I want to support all of you stepping into fame, and sunglasses are a great example of that. So I want you to take a selfie with sunglasses. We're going to provide you with some inspirational quotes about stepping into your light and shining your light, and we're going to give you a few of those. So I'm going to ask you to post the selfie with the quote, and same as last time, hashtag ecstatic fame, ecstaticfame.com. And here's the kicker. We're going to do them, post them all at the same time. I'm very excited by this. So you'll see the date and time below, but we're all going to post at the same time. So can you imagine what the newsfeed is going to look like? Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and maybe even thousands of people with sunglasses on with inspirational quotes about light, and really starting to just get people aware of what's it like if everybody steps into their light? You really can't outshine anyone then if everybody is outshining everybody else. Makes me very happy. So you can find out all the details below. I can't wait to see your selfies. I'll be joining in the fun as well. And here's a place where you get to practice activating your star power and connecting with your own audience, right? Like, this isn't just for this challenge. This is for you to be connecting, like for your audience to get to know you better as well. Okay. Also, I'd love to have you post in the comments section below. Like, let me know what's coming up for you. Like, what was your biggest aha from today's lesson, if you will, and our steps? Which steps stood out for you? And then what action step are you going to take to really put that into action? All right, awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. And then be sure to stay tuned for our third video where I'm going to show you how to monetize your ecstatic fame. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for coming, and I'll see you soon. Take care.